Influencers caught faking wealth? That would never happen. Who are we kidding? That happens all the time. Another influencer was just caught, you guys, scamming like you cannot believe. This guy was actually pretending to be a billionaire, photoshopping bank documents, scamming Louis Vuitton, scamming luxury vacations, you name it. He scammed everybody, even the Uber Eats driver. And then there's also an LA model who's sharing exactly how influencers are faking their wealth and faking their luxury lifestyles. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First up, we have influencer Chin Tung Sheng, who was based in Singapore, and he actually stole over $150,000 worth of Louis Vuitton items from a bungalow. Meanwhile, he would claim that he was making all this money that he was flaunting on his social media from brand deals and sponsored posts, but meanwhile, he was actually robbing people. He was forging documents, and he just pleaded guilty the other day to 7 offenses that are truly shocking. One of the offenses that he did plead guilty to is that he actually broke into a bungalow and stole these Louis Vuitton trunks that were valued at over $200,000. And what happened was he would go to this bungalow and he claimed that he was wanting to lease it. So the man who owned the bungalow would show him around, and Chin would pretend that he was interested in leasing this bungalow for himself, but all the while he was only interested in scoping out the place, looking for what luxury items this man had, and then he had a plan to go back and steal everything. And that's exactly what he did. Once the owner of the bungalow was not around, he went and broke into the bungalow, stole all of this man's Louis Vuitton trunks, stole many other Louis Vuitton items that he had been collecting, and then he went and took these items and flaunted them on his social media like he had bought them himself from earning money as an influencer. Now, you've heard that before, haven't you? We always see people on social media claiming that they are earning so much money buying all these things as an influencer, but meanwhile, they're doing all kinds of criminal activities to obtain these goods, or the goods are fake, or it just goes on and on. But another scam that he was doing was that he would forge receipts, and he would go to the luxury mall in Singapore, and he would actually take these receipts, and somehow they had a system where you could acquire points, and he would use fake receipts to acquire points at the mall. Then with these points you could go into the stores at the mall like Louis Vuitton and you could buy items. So he would acquire points with fake receipts, and he would go into the stores and shop at Louis Vuitton, never mentioning to anybody that these receipts were forged, they were not real, he didn't have a buying history, he didn't have any credit. And then he again would go flaunt his luxury shopping hauls, his Louis Vuitton hauls on his social media, and it was all fake. It was all a scam. He actually would even stay at luxury hotels. One hotel wound up costing $13,000 for his stay there. And somehow he was able to Photoshop a receipt to make it look like he had paid for his stay at the hotel. But meanwhile, he did not pay for it. So the hotel was scammed out of $13,000 by these fake receipts that he could create with Photoshop. So that seems like a trend that we're seeing a lot, is a lot of influencers do know how to use Photoshop quite well, and they will use it to scam people. They will use it for many different methods that it was not intended for. So, because he would also forge bank documents, and he would have these bank documents and he would Photoshop them so that the bank document from his bank, he would claim, said that he had $16 billion in his bank account. And then he claimed that he had $6 million in another bank account. And then he would show these fake bank accounts to people that he was interested in going into business with, so they would think that he was wealthy. Actually, another scam that he didn't have any problem scamming everybody and anybody, because he actually even scammed the Uber driver in Singapore, their version of Uber Eats. And he would tell that the Uber Eats driver essentially that he had paid for the food, and he would show fake receipts that he photoshopped to show paid, but he hadn't paid for the food. So he was essentially even stealing. One bill was $60 that he was stealing from the Uber Eats. So he didn't have any problem scamming everybody, whether it was $60 or $200,000. He was just out to scam everybody. So what do you guys think? A lot of influencers are really upset. Influencer Today magazine actually wrote a story about him, and they said this makes the influencer community look very bad and very dishonest. But it's like, where have you been? Influencers are constantly getting caught lying, scamming, faking wealth. And this is just another example. How many of them are out there flaunting fake bags, flaunting wealth that they don't have? You know, this guy is just another example. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. So up next, we have this former LA model, and she's sharing exactly what influencers are doing to fake their luxury lifestyles. And she shares all the tips and tricks, exactly how they're doing it. So let's go ahead and check it out.
I'm not naming no names, but I wish you guys knew how easy it is to fake being wealthy for the internet here in LA. A lot of those big money guys and your favorite creators don't live where you think they live. So up the street from here, we have this $100 million mansion that costs $90 an hour to rent out. A lot of creators rent that space once a week, film their content, and make it look like they live there. Rent a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, 99 bucks an hour. It gets crazier because most people in LA have a following, because to be a model or an actor, there's a lot of casting calls you can't go to unless you have a following. What used to happen is when you got with an agency, they would dump you a bunch of bots. Now most people realize how that damages an account, but the metrics are still there. And since most people don't know how to do that, they end up buying followers, likes, comments, shares, everything, so they can go to casting calls and keep their agency. There's even more because there's agency funded houses out here. Anyone who's part of that agency can go film there and make it look like they live there, and they encourage you to do this because it looks better for the internet. But there's even more because we also have designer rental services. It's between $300 and $800 a month, and you get bags, shoes, sunglasses, clothing, anything you need, all designer. Just wear it, get your pictures, and then send it back. As long as you didn't ruin it, you don't have to pay for it. You can fully construct a lifestyle out here of wealth. And that's part of the reason we're starting to get a bunch of influencer debt resolution companies now. Like, you don't need to feel bad about yourself. Just wear the 10-cent shirt from the thrift store. Nobody cares, I promise you. Build your content around something else. You don't have to look rich to be a creator.
And here is a Miami model sharing her story of how influencers are being super fake in Miami.
So when I first went to Miami, I started going to these promoter dinners that basically are free dinners for girls if you live in Miami at nice restaurants, and you get like free food, like good free food, like truffle pasta and sushi. You get free bottles of wine, and all you really have to do is just like sit and eat dinner with a group of girls. So I started going to them thinking it would be like a good way just to get out of the house for a little bit, make some new friends in Miami. But I soon came to learn that like a lot of the girls who would attend these dinners were either girls that were like on vacation from other places and not really looking to make friends, or girls that lived in Miami but were very into like a party every night kind of scene that I did not really want to get involved in. One time I went to one of these dinners, and one of the girls that was sitting right next to me asked me to take pictures of her, so I did. She was gorgeous. She told me to add her on Instagram, and she had like 200,000 followers. We start chatting. She tells me that she was born in the US but grew up in Australia, and I think that backstory might have been a lie after some digging I did, but besides the point. We hit it off really quick. She tells me that she's staying at this like really, really nice hotel in Miami that I know is like easily $800 to $1,000 a night. And that is on like off season. I tell her that I'm a makeup artist. I recently moved down here with my boyfriend. She tells me that she's like in Miami by herself and she's here to shoot content with brands that she was working with. But I looked at her Instagram later on and I realized that there were like no brands in any of her posts. So I'll hit it off. We're vibing, having a really great conversation. And the promoter that we're at the dinner with is trying to like wrangle all of the girls and take them to another nightclub. And we both had no interest in going to like a nightclub, but we were having a conversation and we didn't want to go home. So she suggested that we like go to a bar that was like local just to like have another drink. I tell her I'm not drinking, I drove. And she was like, oh, we can go to my hotel lobby. There's a really great like bar there. It's kind of a scene. I was like, oh yeah, sure, let's go. And this was the hotel that she told me that she was allegedly staying at. And like I said, it costs a lot of money to stay there per night. I got kind of iffy about things. I drove to this dinner and I valeted my car there just because I didn't want to drink that night. I didn't drink. And I told her, I was like, hey, I don't want to have to valet my car again at the hotel. So I'm thinking we should just like walk to the hotel. It's only a few blocks. And she was like, no, like let's just drive in your car there. I'm like, well, I don't want to pay like $50 to $100 to valet my car at a hotel on Miami Beach. Like, it doesn't make sense. And she was kind of like mad that I didn't want to take my car there. We walked to the hotel and like it's kind of awkward, and her vibe like totally switched up when we got there. I kind of just wanted like a virgin pina colada, so I ordered it and I asked if she wanted anything. She's like, no. We literally weren't even talking at that point, and she was sitting there like white as a ghost, just like wasn't saying anything to me. At this point, the convo died out, things were awkward, and I wanted to leave, but I wanted to go to the bathroom. I said to her, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Do you want to just stay with my drink? She's like, no, I'll come with you. So I'm like, okay, cool. We go to the bathroom. I have my drink in one hand. She's like following behind me, and the front desk staff says, hey to her. And I'm like, oh, they must like need something from her since she's staying at the hotel. And she's like, oh, go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, I get out, and she has her suitcases with her. And I'm like, why do you have your suitcases with her? Like, you're staying here. Like, this is crazy. Do you need me to help you with this? Like, do you need me to help you bring it up? And she's like, it's a long story. So I ask her, I'm like, are you good? Like, do you have a place to sleep tonight? And I thought that she was staying there, like I said, but it turns out that she met a guy, not the night before, but 2 nights before, had like a one nighter with him. And she took all of her stuff there thinking that he was going to let her stay, and that didn't happen. And she was like keeping her stuff at coat check and just like hanging around the hotel. Girls come to Miami and actually do this. Well, obviously, like, I felt bad for her, right? And I think that she was mad I didn't bring my car because she might have thought that like I would take her and her suitcases and like let her sleep over the night, but like I just met her, so that was obviously not happening. I asked her if she wanted me to stay with her until she figured out where she was going to sleep that night, and if she wanted me to help her like book a hotel room somewhere else that was like more affordable. And she was like, no, I'm good. And she was so nasty. So I just was like, okay, girl, here's my number if you need anything. Have a good night. And I left. And I felt really bad about doing that because I felt like I was abandoning her. But at the end of the day, like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Point, it's like 11 p.m. and I'm just happy to get home. And I'm sitting there thinking on the drive home, like, the level of deception that this girl was committed to, because like every single conversation that I had with her over the span of only like 2 or 3 hours was embedded with pathological lies. Like, I literally was asking her about the spot, this hotel, because I wanted to get a massage there one day, and she was like, oh my god, it's amazing. I've been going every day. I got a facial yesterday. I'm getting a massage tomorrow. It's the best. And then we were talking about like wine, and she's like, yeah, I'm not really drinking tonight because I ordered an entire bottle of rosé for myself at the pool today. Like, literally talking about how she loves this hotel and loves staying there and like never wants to check out. She's like, you know, thinking of extending her trip. Like, she was committed. She was also decked out head to toe in designer stuff, was wearing an expensive stack, had designer shoes, a designer bag. I told her that I lived near the design district, and she was like, oh, I go there every time I'm in Miami. I have loyalty at this store and that store, and they shut down the store for me. Like, let's go one day that I'm here. And I understand that what this girl was doing in her lifestyle is more than likely SW. However, that's not what I have an issue with. The issue I have with this, okay, is that the lengths of deception that she was going to do to prove otherwise is just craziness. And I am willing to bet that more than likely her and all these other types of girls do not get close to people in real life because of this. However, they're portraying a life on social media that is glamorous, hard to attain, perfect, like they have a rich boyfriend or somebody taking care of them, or they've got it all figured out, they're well traveled. And in reality, especially what I saw that night, is the complete opposite. Anyways, I have an endless supply of stories and experiences like this, so let me know if I should do a part 2.
So there you have it. These are influencers faking their luxury lifestyles, pretending to be rich, flaunting fake wealth. They're flaunting wealth, but it's fake. So what's the point? But what do you guys think? It really makes you wonder. Next time these influencers are trying to flaunt these luxury lifestyles and these luxury hauls and these luxury vacations, a good majority of the time it's all fake. And so there's nothing to feel bad about your own life. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below about these fake influencers and these fake lifestyles. Let me know what you guys think. And that's pretty much it. I hope you're all doing good, and I'll see you soon.